View distance is a setting that people rarely talk about and one that many ignore. So in today's video, I will be comparing and testing all the different view distance settings from low to epic. I'll talk about the advantages and disadvantages as well as covering the FPS difference you get with each view distance option. Jumping right into the building render comparison, and we can see that on low viewing distance, build starts to disappear at around 275 meters away from the object, 365 meters on medium, 460 meters on far, and 550 meters with epic viewing distance applied. However, when it comes to rendering players or robots, the view distance setting doesn't affect how far you can see them. This means that even with near view distance, you can still see your opponents regardless of how far they are away from you. In addition, it allows you to see through builds when you're out of the render distance, which can help you find players when you're W keying. Moving on to the FPS comparison, and we can see that in an open field, you lose around 1% of performance on medium view distance, 2% on far, and around 3% on epic. This may not sound a lot, but in an actual game where there are more player structure built, the performance difference may be even larger. If you play scrims or you're in an endgame situation, I highly recommend you to put view distance on near as it can greatly reduce the stutterness and input delay. In a closed area where much of the outside world is blocked off, the difference between near and epic is not very noticeable, which tells us that epic viewing distance in creative should not feel too different than near if you're on decent hardware. One thing to note is that when you aim in with the gun or when you're driving a vehicle, you can actually see 100 meters further than the maximum render distance you applied. For example, on near, you can still see structures at around 350 meters when you're targeting versus 275 meters when you're not. To sum things up, if you're a comp player, choosing between these options can be a bit difficult as near view distance lets you see through builds and higher view distance lets you see where opponents are building and fighting. If you can't choose between the two, you can put your view distance on medium, otherwise I would just use near since it provides a smoother experience. As for the casuals, feel free to leave this setting on far or epic as long as you're reaching the FPS that you desire. And that's it for this video. Hopefully you learned something new, consider dropping a sub and using code Peezs in the item shop. Peace.
You think I need you? Don't you know you're the one that'll hold me back? No, I won't miss you. I've thrown away memories in the trash.